like it's Halloween time, so da
More
da da
scary.
da 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 da. She's no, that's Jaws, right? She's back.
Jaws was scary too.
Hi guys. So yeah, we're back, and I'm sure you guys, a lot of you have seen us on. We did Wednesday night chats on Thursday,
And Friday.
yeah, and Friday.
Yeah.
So,
The Friday afternoon edition of Wednesday Night
oh yeah,
Chats.
that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
So you can see our pink ocean up here.
I screwed up.
Somebody
I screwed
made
up
a
the
little
video.
bobo.
I broke the video today, so you're gonna have to look at the ocean.
You have to deal with the pink ocean.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're back, and today, Federal Injury Centers of Virginia Beach. What's up, Kate?
Hey.
All right. Tonight we are discussing what forms, how important the forms are, and when to file these forms. So we're going to go over CA 1, 2, 16, 17, a CA 20, OWCP 957, and the OWCP 915, and the CA 7. So we're going to go over that, when you should file them, when you...
Take your dog.
Oh, hi, I got a little guest. Okay, come on, everybody. This is our host for tonight, Giz.
Ellie's outside the door, jealous that she's not in here, but she
Yeah.
likes to bark. And he wants to jump down.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go over all these forms, and epic fail. Hello, Federal Injury Centers of Columbus, Ohio. Amy's on here tonight.
Anyways, getting to it.
Yeah. So we're going to go over all these forms. And before we do that, grab yourself a paper and a pen, just in case you don't know what these forms are.
Or you can just replay it.
Or just replay. We're going to do some little housekeeping. So starting Saturday, we're going to be in Orlando meeting a doctor from Toronto, Canada,
who's trying to move to Florida
and wants to start a franchise. And then Sunday, we're heading to Miami for a week. From Sunday to Saturday, we have BDC coaching that we're attending called Marketing Matters. So we're excited for that because we get to see our BDC fam.
But the purpose of that is to help us get some ideas to find more of you.
Yes.
So we can help more people. Because we're just barely scratching the surface on how to help people. So we hope to find some good strategies there so we can get, in front of more people and help more people.
Yeah. And
it's Miami. And I've been tempted with a good time lots of times, but I never argued with Miami. Don't tempt me with a good time in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah. Not Miami. Yeah, we're going to be doing that there. And then we come right back home Sunday. We're home Sunday, Monday. And then we head to Los Angeles.
Wait, we get to be home 2 days?
2 days we're home. And then we head to Los Angeles for quite a few days. We're going to be training TSA in LA. We have some presidents coming in from Nevada, Arizona, California. So we're going to be training them. And then from there, it normally spirals as far as having them invite us over to their local. And then, last but not least, we come home, and we are home till March. That's not saying that we don't.
There's no way we'll be home till March.
Yeah,
something's going to
come up. But so far, not March, May. I put it on our schedule. No travel. So we won't be doing any open houses or meet and greets and things like that. But we need some time to get 2024 together. Holidays are coming. We're excited. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Chris's birthday. Then we're probably going to go pack up and head to Utah for a little bit and hibernate.
Can anybody hear Jake? So our
Jake with State Farm, that is.
My in-laws are here, and they have, I don't know what kind of bird that is. I call it a parrot. But he's a beautiful green bird.
He's cute.
But man, he's so loud.
All right. We got everybody on. Let's see. We got Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're all on. So don't forget to share, like, follow, subscribe, and everything else it is that you guys do. I'm going to go ahead and follow. Share, not follow.
But you all, we need your help. we'd really appreciate if you would share. Like, if you want to share to your group pages, you do that. Definitely share this to your own news feed if you're on Facebook, so that your friends, who are probably your coworkers, will see it too. There's been at least one jerk who
No, there was actually 3.
Okay, at least 3 jerks that keep reporting our Wednesday Night Chats page like it's a scam or something. And of course it's not, but I think it's either like your supervisors, your HR people, my competition. Somebody's out there and they're trying to hurt us, and they do this every single day. And we're not sure what the problem is. It may be somebody on one of your group pages that doesn't like seeing good strategies to win an OWCP because losing feels so good. But somebody's out there who's being a jerk, and they keep reporting our page. We've been doing this since 2016, and then all of a sudden, the last like 2 or 3 weeks, the page has been reported like almost every day, as if we're saying or doing something wrong, right? So anyway, if you could just post it on your pages and to your news feed, let your friends know that we're doing this, because those of you that are here all the time, this is a valuable resource for people who need the help. And, we're just trying to help those people. So share.
Yeah. So I'm going to share myself. And then we're going to go right into, again, we're talking about different types of forms that you have to use for your OWCP injuries and what they're all about and how they're going to help you. And let's start off with CA1s and CA2s.
People are really confused often on just simply, how do I report a work injury? How do I file a work injury? And it's so easy, but you have to start, like, back up just a little bit, at ecomp.dol.gov, ecomp.dol.gov. You have to go in there and create an account. And from there, you file your forms there. But the CA1 and the CA2 are the forms that you need to report an injury. If you look back on the CA10 form, what a federal employee should do when injured at work, it says the first section, report to supervisor as soon as possible, which is now. Well, okay, great. You reported. That's wonderful. You told your supervisor, I'm hurt. Okay, so you did that. But then you've got to file your forms. So you go to ecomp.dol.gov, and there's a CA1 and a CA2. And that's where you fill out these forms. They're all electronic now. In the old days, like 2021 and before, it was all paper. And now it's electronic. So the CA1 you fill out for any injury that happened in a single work shift. If today you twisted your ankle, it's a CA1. If today, God forbid, you blow out your knee, it's a CA1. If you were lifting a package over your head today and you felt a pop in your shoulder, that's a CA1. It happened today. And those are pretty straightforward. The CA2s are not that much different as far as getting a claim accepted, but they're a little less straightforward. A CA2 is for any injury that developed over a period of 2 or more days, 2 or more shifts, 2 or more weeks, months, years. And over time, you start noticing that you have discomfort or pain in one of your joints or some part of your body. Well, that developed over a period of time. That's a CA2. In either case, you go onto eComp and you fill out the form. The first page is for you. The second page is for your supervisor. And then they have 10 days from when they receive it from you to turn it into DOL or OWCP. It's all the same. OWCP is housed inside of DOL. And if they don't turn it in within 10 days, you've got a grievance, because they have 10 days by law to turn that in. The reason that is because your clock doesn't really start until the claims examiner receives it. And so how long do you want your supervisor to delay the process by not turning it in? Well, they have no more than 10 days to get that in. And then after that, you should file a grievance. So that's a CA1 and CA2, but there are some rules that I want to just discuss with these. On a CA1 claim, you've got to report your injury within 7 days. Okay, no exceptions. Some people say, well, as long as it's within 30 days, I can have continuation of pay, and that's true. But if you wait 8 days, you cannot have a CA16, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the CA16 pays all of your medical bills for 60 days, so you don't have to. And you have to understand, your claim's not accepted in those 60 days. Okay, they almost never get accepted that fast. And so for that period of time, you don't have to pay your bills. The CA16 pays your bills, and that's really critical. And so it's not just like that thing says report to supervisor as soon as possible. That's ridiculous. They should just say report to supervisor now. Everyone knows what now means. And that's how it should be, so you don't miss these benefits. Again, if you wait more than 7 days, you're not eligible for the CA16 that pays your bills. But if you wait more than 30 days because you're in the rub some dirt on it camp and you think it's just going to get better, you also can't have continuation of pay, which is good for up to 45 days of time off. God forbid you need to be out of work. And as I always say, the surest way to get paid is to go to work and clock in. Okay. You have fewer hurdles, fewer, red tape, fewer things to get in your way of getting paid. All you do is clock in. So we want you to be able to go back to work medically safe, right? That's the key, that getting back to work as safe as possible, as soon as possible. So, but you got to report your injury within 30 days to get COP. So if you report within 7 days, you're eligible for COP and CA16 and everything is good. And that's only for a CA1. Another difference is CA2s, you're not eligible for CA16 or for COP. You just can't have it because that's the rule. If it's a CA2 claim that happened over a period of time, they expect that you've been working with it, so they're not going to pay you to be out of work with COP. It doesn't mean you can't be out of work, but they won't give you COP. And because it's not necessarily an emergency situation, it didn't just happen today.
Right.
That's why you don't get a CA16 to pay your medical bills. Instead, we just, in all cases, have to get your claim accepted. And once your claim's accepted, all your medical bills will be paid and all of your time off can be covered. So that's critical. But that's the difference between a CA1 and a CA2. And if you'll bear with me, I'm going to let this little rat out.
Don't forget, for your forms, especially for the CA1 and the CA2, you have to have your supervisor's email address. And I see somebody just mentioned that the only problem with eComp is you need your supervisor's email address, and most of us don't have those. You're gonna have to get it because it has to go to them as well.
And this is the rule.
Yeah.
So the supervisors can't hide their email address, okay? They've changed all the rules, even on the CA10, which essentially is law. It says that you have to go through eComp on the third section of the form. So nobody can hide their email address. And if they do, file a grievance. You have a right to it. It's the only way to get your injury claims filed on eComp.
Yes. Also, Kathy, you said, when does COP start?
Well, that's okay. So if you're a postal employee, it starts after 3 days, right? And I believe there's another agency like that, but for sure the postal service at 3 days. But if you're off for 14, you get the first 3 back, right?
But you can only get COP on a CA1 claim.
Right. So on a CA1, you're eligible right away unless you're a postal employee. COP starts after the 3rd day. But if you're off work more than 14 days, they'll give you that first 3 days back.
All right. So that's CA1, CA2.
Yeah. What other questions are there?
So far, nothing.
And who else is here? Let's say hello to some folks.
So we have everybody. Well, we have almost all. We got Tim from FIC of DMV.
What's up, Tim Vandeman, up in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. He was on with us a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely crushing it. He's got nearly 300 accepted claims already in a very short period of time. So thank you, Tim, for being here, and great job.
So Lindsay, that she is with Tim's office.
Yep.
They got Baltimore, Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, Laurel, Maryland, Greenbelt, Maryland, Silver Spring, Maryland, Temple Hills, Maryland, and Alexandria, Virginia.
Nice.
Those are all in the DMV area.
And more to come. I know Tim.
We have Irene with Federal Injury Centers of Thousand Oaks.
All right. California in the house. What's up?
We have Jennifer with DMV Federal Injury Centers. We have Kevin with
Jennifer,
Federal Injury Centers of Cleveland.
What's up, Kevin? And Cleveland is killing it too. They've got a high like 90+% claims acceptance rate. So we're really, really happy with the Cleveland office.
Got Cynthia. She said here from Minnesota. Hello, welcome.
Yeah, what's up?
Samara Marie said also for postal employees, if your days off fall within the first 3 days, those count towards your 3-day period, correct?
Right. But again, as I said, if you're off of work for 2 weeks or more, they're going to give you the 3 days back as COP.
Florence, I mean, yeah, you can ask your union. I don't see, always get a steward and see if they can help you with that before going to the union. But that's why you have a union.
Yeah. And when we do steward training, we tell them that one of the things you've got to do is sort of push through all the problems that your folks are having. And it looks like one of those is that they don't have the email address. So stewards, you're going to have to help get these email addresses too. And I'll add that to my training.
And we have Tiffany from Federal Injury Centers of Phoenix City and Forest Park / Atlanta.
What's up, Tiffany? Tiffany is one of the top case managers in all of Federal Injury Centers.
Yes.
We're really happy to have her here.
Oh,
and I saw the Columbus office.
We got Greenville here.
And we were just there with Greenville. Okay, don't ever go to the Greenville, South Carolina office unless you want to have the time of your life. Just don't do it, okay? Don't do that to yourself. If your idea of a good time is to be bored and sad, don't go there, because you can't be bored and sad in that Greenville office. That was a blast the whole time.
Yeah. Where to go? Kathy said, my OWCP says start the day you lose pay.
Well, yeah, sure. That's right. Unless you're a postal employee. But they give it all back to you later on. So it's pretty much right all the time.
We have Jenny from Federal Injury Centers of Portland.
What's up, Portland? And by the way, the reason I killed the video behind us is because I was trying to change the map, Jenny, excuse me. And when I changed the map and reconverted it to a video, I broke it and I didn't have time to fix it. So I told you last week I was going to fix it. I did, but it's only fixed on my computer.
All right. Let's move on. What is a CA16, Chris?
Well, I don't know, but Dr. Griffin is here too. LOL. What's up, Dr. Griffin? We used to work together in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And she's one of the case managers now. Dr. Griffin is also, don't bother her about this, but she is a prolific schedule award doctor. Prolific. She may be the best schedule award doctor in the country. And that's like super covert. Nobody knows that but me, but now you all know it. So, hey, Dr. Griffin, what's up?
We have Federal Injury Centers of Greenville saying, we loved having you guys here. Thank you for everything. It was fun in Greenville.
It was.
It's a small little town in South Carolina, and it was so cute and fun. We had a great time with Dr. Mills and Beth and Wendy and all their staff.
Yep.
Great group of people. All right. What's a CA16, Chris?
I don't know.
All right. A CA16.
Tell them.
I don't know what a CA16 is.
Tell them. Come on.
Okay. CA16 is, you only get a CA16 when you file a CA1.
That's right.
So Number one.
Good.
You have to get your CA16 immediately or have somebody get it for you if you are going to the ER or walk-in. And it pays your bills for 60 days.
Okay. So all of that's pretty good. I told you a second ago on a CA1 claim. On a CA1 claim, you have to report your injury within 7 days. If you report it in 8 days, you're not getting a CA16. You report within 7 days, and then you can have this form, but you're going to have to work for it because your supervisors don't want you to have it. They're going to say you're not hurt bad enough. They don't have a medical license to have that opinion. They're going to say, I don't have to give it to you. The law says they have to give it to you within 4 hours of the claimed injury. There's nothing in there about not giving it to you. They're going to say, I don't know how to find one. You can go to federalinjurycenters.com and print one from our forms tab because we've got one for you, courtesy of the wonderful American Postal Workers Union, where I found it online as a PDF. So thank you, APWU, for having that out there for your members. I stole it from you. It doesn't belong to you, but you had it, and now I have it too. So now we both have it. So you can go, if you're APW or anywhere in the world, you can find it there. Or you can find it at federalinjurycenters.com. Nobody can keep this form from you because you can get it yourself. And then you take it to your supervisor and get it filled out. But some people want to bring a form in. They're like so happy because they have a CA16. So they bring it in and it's not filled out. That's trash. That's where we put it. It's got to be filled out and signed by somebody in charge at your agency. Okay. So you get that form. Don't let your supervisor tell you no. And if they do, you file a grievance. Period, because the law states that they shall give it to you within 4 hours of the claimed injury.
Yep.
4 hours. Okay. That's not no, you can't have it. That's yes, you must have it immediately. Right. So get your CA16. It pays all of your medical bills for the first 60 days on a CA1 claim that is reported within 7 days. And the real great part about this thing is they never ask you to pay it back. Okay. You don't have to pay back a CA16 if your claim's not approved. That's a great thing. All right. Because unfortunately, like only 14% of people nationwide have an approved claim. If they make you pay it back, nobody would want a CA16 because they'd worry about having to pay back medical bills. Right. So get the CA16. And while I'm at this, I'm going to, although we're not going to talk about COP, I've talked a lot about it already, but I want to say this, a senior claims examiner, who I respect, said to me that everybody should also on a CA1 elect COP in box 15. Letter A is continuation of pay. Letter B is sick and annual leave. And he said, what do you have to lose? Okay, if your claim's not ultimately accepted, they're just going to take your sick and annual leave anyways.
Yep.
So don't just use it willingly. Give yourself a fighting chance to not use it. Everybody with a CA1 claim should elect continuation of pay. The worst thing that happens is they come and take your time. Well, if you use your time, it's taken, right? You gave it away though. So don't give it away. Make them take it. But if you get your claim accepted, they can't take it back. On a CA16, they'll never ask you to pay the bills back. But on COP, they may take your time. But that's only if your claim doesn't get accepted. Now, I said nationwide, 14% of people have accepted claims, but at federal injury centers, it's greater than 90%. So if you're at a federal injury center's office, and you don't have to be, you can be here and get this training and never go to federal injury centers, and that's okay. We will welcome you back again next week and every week following that. But if you do, your odds of having a denied claim being the ultimate, the ultimate decision are extremely low, less than 10%.
Samara Marie said, how long should it take to get a medical narrative from your office after being seen?
From my office, you should have a medical narrative within a week if we're going slow. And that's okay. If it takes a lot longer, your COP can be cut off. Most of our narratives probably are finished within 2 to 4 days. It depends on the complexity of the situation. And we'll have it e-comped. And so your claim examiner will have it just, automatically when it's done. Do we have a problem with a late narrative report? Because if so, I'd like to know about it and get it fixed.
Victor said, hello, I'm back.
What's up, Victor? We missed you, buddy. Hey, Victor, did you see the podcast episode? It said 1-800-VICTOR. we took your interview and turned it into a podcast. By the way, everyone, check out our podcast, the Breaking OWCP Podcast with Chris and Gini. You can find it on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. Already, we've got almost 300 downloads of it, so we're really appreciative of that. And our guy Robert, who is awesome. Okay, awesome. He took what seemed for me to be an impossible task of getting a podcast up and running, and boom, just like blew it out. I think we have like almost 10 episodes now, and we're really excited about it. Go take a look at it. If you are somebody that is like on the West Coast and you have a hard time getting here live, well, the podcast is available to you all day long while you're on your route. If you're a carrier, if you like to wear a Beats headset like me and Aaron do, my son, you can. And Joe, by the way, Joe got a Beats headset, our partner. You can wear that thing, and while you're selling stamps. Now, look, you may not hear your customers say they want those American flag stamps, but you'll hear me, and that's what's most important, right? So just put those beats in when you're selling stamps. If you're a VA nurse, you can be wearing these things while you're doing your job as a nurse. You may not hear it if your patients buzz you, but you'll hear me, right? So that's the key. Obviously, wow. That's all a joke. Help your patients, help the customers, do all this stuff. Don't drive distracted. No getting in wrecks because you're listening to Chris and Gini on the podcast. But I'm just saying, look, we're trying to make it more accessible to you. So go to Spotify, go to the Apple Podcast app, and download, subscribe to Breaking OWCP with Chris and Gini, the Breaking OWCP podcast. We're very excited to give you just one more platform that you can learn about OWCP on. And it's not terribly boring.
Lisa Silva said, any more locations planned for SoCal, like Inland Empire area? We are
for Southern Cal.
We definitely are working on it.
Yeah. So we have a vision of at least 20 federal injury centers offices in the state of California.
I mean, it could even have 50 and it wouldn't be enough.
And I don't think it'd be enough. But the problem is getting doctors to say yes, although we do have a plan. When we were in Utah a few weeks ago, one of the things we came up with is a plan to help our current franchisees that already here, already like helping you, already do a good job, and then helping them expand. And so we're trying to make it easier for our current franchisees to expand. Anything we can do to get to you faster, we're working on it.
Yeah, we do have locations in Illinois. Go to federalinjurycenters.com, click locations, and we have 3 locations in Illinois.
Yeah.
Linda says, if you file a CA2 and your OPM disability retirement goes through before your OWCP gets approved because your case manager don't know what she's doing, can you still switch over to OWCP.
Yeah.
I'm being told I'm off payroll, and the only thing I'm able to get from OWCP is medical.
Yeah. So I was talking to attorney Eric Blauser about this once, and he said that sometimes in a schedule award situation, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be talking about schedule awards tonight, but it's money, right? He will sometimes switch people from OWCP to disability, or switch them from disability to schedule award back to OWCP. The point is, you can go on and off of these things. You just can't receive dual benefits from the federal government.
Right.
So yes, you can go back and forth.
Mary said, I remember my first time here, didn't know anything. This show will teach you everything. Ask always, ask.
Thanks, Mary. We really appreciate it. And, sometimes we play Stump the Chump and it happens. That $24.99 really got me last time. But my buddy Ron saved my butt on it. So I've got a $24.99 now.
Okay.
We're not stumping me again.
You go to federalinjurycenters.com, click locations, and you will find all of our locations.
Yeah, the locations tab is at the top of the page in a red box. It's impossible to miss. Just click it. And then the states are alphabetical. So scroll down to Illinois. And from Illinois, the cities are alphabetical. And so scroll down, and we have 3 there. And the phone numbers to the offices are listed there. You call them directly. So those of you that are new, it's important that we're also not a referral service.
Yes.
Federal Injury Centers is a franchise like McDonald's. Okay. We have to follow the same rules they do in order to have franchise locations. To have a franchise business, we got to do what McDonald's does and all the other major franchises, right? But because we're a healthcare franchise, one of the things we can't do is make referrals to our own franchisees. And that's okay. No problem. We want you anyways to choose your own doctor. That CA-10, what a federal employee should do when injured at work, the second section of it says get a CA-16, but it also says you have the right to initial selection of physician. So we respect that right. We do not want to force you or even influence you to go to an office. You go where you want to go. What we've done on the franchise page is just list the offices, their addresses, their phone numbers. You decide.
And an email.
And if you don't want to decide on one of our offices, just Google it and find somebody else if you can.
Yeah.
So, that's not, being here is not contingent on going to any of our offices, but we don't refer you. So you have to go and decide if that's what you want, and then call them yourself, and we're happy to help you.
Good evening, Sylvia. Kathy Biner said, if there's not a physician will OWCP reimburse your medical insurance?
Well, okay. So I understand. So if medical wasn't required, will OWCP reimburse medical expenses? The answer is no. And if it wasn't medically necessary for the injury that happened on the job, OWCP will not reimburse it.
She also said, if physician's not in range, can you use your medical insurance?
Okay, you can use, I didn't say you should. You can use your medical insurance. When people ask me cans and can't questions, I like those because the answer is almost always yes, you can. It's like, can you run a red light? You can run a red light, but you'll get a ticket, right? Can I? No, I'm not going to say that's really awful. Can I use my health insurance? Yes, you can. But if it's a legitimate work injury, you should not, right? With that said, a lot of people, in order to run the red light, have to use their health insurance. And I'm totally in favor of that because I want you to get help. It is appropriate to use OWCP for a work injury.
Samara Marie said, I've been waiting about 2 weeks to get a medical narrative. I know they went through some changes, but I thought that's why it took a month to hear whether or not they needed me to be seen again.
So send us a private message, if you don't mind, please, right here on Wednesday Night Chats, and let us know what office you went to. Give us a little more detail, and I'm going to fix that for you tomorrow.
Victor said, Dr. Dorfman rolls. I sent another coworker to him. Now coworker is happy. So that's 2 coworkers. And yes, Victor, I saw what you said. Yes, Federal Injury Centers of Orlando is coming December sometime.
They were hoping December 1st. I doubt it. So maybe the week after. Maybe the 8th.
Be patient, Orlando. We're coming.
Well, don't be patient. I'm not patient. Definitely don't be patient. Okay.
Patient.
I think you should raise hell until we get it done because I am not patient. Am I patient?
So
am I patient?
No.
I'm not patient. So I'm not telling you to be too, but I'm telling you that it's coming. And Dr. Lee and Dr. K here in the Tampa Bay area have partnered up with Dr. Dorfman in Melbourne and Titusville, Florida. and they are joining forces to bring you a big, beautiful Orlando office.
Yeah. Kathy, you said I've had both knees scoped. Can I file a schedule award? Make sure that your claim is accepted before you get a schedule award.
Good
you
answer.
have to be at MMI.
You have to be at an MMI, but your claim must be approved. She was right on the money. Number one, is my claim approved? Yes. Number two, am I at maximum medical improvement? Yes. Number three, do I have an injury that is rateable according to OWCP? If yes, then yeah, get your schedule award.
And if you need more questions answered about schedule awards, we did a few videos a while back. We actually had Eric Blowers on talking about it because he's the one that does the training on it.
Yeah.
So you can go back to some of the old videos and listen on into that.
Yeah.
Janice, we don't know about Wisconsin. We are working on all the states that don't have any doctors. So next thing we want to talk about what?
Victor said, holy shit, may the fourth be with management in Orlando. Yeah, you know what? Because once we get there, management goes nuts. Anytime we get into a new location, the supervisors have been in that area, whatever new location is, right? They've been just like running roughshod over the people and breaking the rules and threatening and doing all the things, harassing, the things supervisors do. And then as soon as we put an office in there, and our office, is trained by us, supervisors like go into convulsions. Like, wait, we don't get to abuse people anymore? What the hell? Well, no, you don't. Okay. Because we're here now.
Yep.
And when we're here now, you don't get to do that anymore. It's over.
Cynthia, unfortunately, we cannot have your doctor call our doctor for help.
No. Okay. Let me explain why. Okay. There's a number of reasons, but the number one reason we don't work with non-federal injury centers doctors is because we value compliance above all else. When you are a federal injury centers doctor, we get to mandate compliance standards. We get to make sure that they dot every I and cross every T and do everything right. And if they don't, I get to kick them out. If a non-federal injury centers doctor says, well, I heard that from Chris and whatever, and he does it wrong and distorts it, and it hurts you, but it hurts the system. So I only work with federal injury centers doctors, and 100%, because it's the only way that I can control it and ensure that somebody with a badge doesn't show up in that doctor's office because they committed fraud. We're very sensitive to compliance. It's a big deal to us. And we've got a robust compliance program.
Yeah, too many things have happened in the past with
other doctors, not to us.
Yeah, with other whatever fed injury places. So we just don't do that.
Yeah, like somebody just got busted because she was sending narcotic prescriptions to her sister on patients that didn't need it. Okay, we're not involved in pharmacy, so that'll never happen to us. But we look at this stuff and we're like, okay, what are other people doing wrong? And we make sure that we add compliance steps if we see something that could possibly happen, even hypothetical. But anyways, we only work with federal injury centers doctors that are trained by us and that understand the compliance rules and that do everything right, so you don't look over your shoulder when you're going to the doctor.
But if your doctor does want to join federal injury centers,
well, that's a different story.
You can have them. You can reach out to me, and I'll tell you what you need to do to get that doctor to get for us to talk to them.
And that's not a financial grab; it is a compliance grab.
Yeah.
We are just fanatical about being compliant, and so I don't trust anybody that's not inside my network.
What is a CA-17? We're going to talk about CA-17s now. You heard about CA-16s, and a lot of the times when we go to these union trainings, when Chris asks the question, who's heard of a CA-16? Maybe one person, if one person
out of 100.
And then, like we're lucky certain places that we've trained multiple times that they remember it, but it just never sticks. And for some reason, people forget to get the CA-16.
But we're talking about 17.
Now we're talking about 17.
Okay. So the CA-17 is called a duty status report. The CA-17 is the way that your doctor restricts your duties if you can't go back to work full duty. The CA-17 is also the way your doctor takes you off of work if you can't work medically. But the beauty of the CA-17 is it's also the way they send you back to work when you can. And that's what we're looking for. As a side note, Federal Injury Centers has about 85% return to work rate. That's whether it's either limited duty or full duty. But we understand that one of your biggest complaints when you get hurt is that you're not getting paid. Like, we get that. You're frustrated. Like Rich Ray in New York said, I'm tired of seeing my carriers go homeless. Well, nobody goes homeless if they're getting paid, right? And so we listen to you. We hear you. Now, there are some people that want OWCP to be a vacation. Well, we're not down with that, right? Look, we're not taking you off of work because you want to take time off of work. Look, I understand you hate your supervisors, but we're not going to take you off of work because you don't want to go to work, right?
Right.
So set that aside. We're just not going to do it. The CA-17 is there to protect you at work. Its whole purpose is to keep you safe at work, to restrict your duties so you don't lift more than you can, walk further than you're able to, sit longer than you're able to, stand longer than you need to. That's the purpose of the CA-17. And when you can do nothing because, you're a letter carrier and your whole job is walking all day long, 10 miles a day, and you broke your leg, okay, you got to be out of work. You can't walk. All right. That's the way it goes. Now, with that said, if the carriers and the clerks played nice together, maybe that carrier gets a seating job selling stamps. But that's your internal issue, not mine. So we do what we can to get you back to work. But when you can't, that's how we take you off of work. And by we, I mean the doctor. Nobody can take you off of work except for a medical doctor. That's critical. They have to sign that CA-17. So the form takes you off of work, restricts your duties, and sends you back to work. I would tell you as a note that everybody should want to go back to work. And that's not because I'm a company doctor. I'm not the company doctor. The supervisors hate me. And I mean, injury comp hates me.
Oh, yeah.
I am nobody's friend inside your agency, I assure you. But because I'm your friend, I'm telling you the surest way to get paid is to clock in. So what the CA-17 does is it helps you do just that, unless you can't work at all. So I told you that. Let me say this. It must originate with your supervisor. Side A says supervisor. Side B says physician. What comes first, A or B?
Well, Victor said stupidvisor.
Okay, what comes first?
I think it's letter A.
Okay, A comes before B in the alphabet. So this has to start with letter A. All right, so the supervisor, oh, please turn that off. You turn it off?
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Okay, so the supervisor has to fill it out and then give it to you to take to your doctor. From there, the doctor reads side A and looks at all the restrictions, that your supervisor wrote down, or not restrictions, but your job requirements. And then your doctor uses that for side B to write what your restrictions are. And then your doctor sends it to the claims examiner, gives you 2 copies of it. You take 1 copy to your supervisor, and the doctor can even fax a copy to your supervisor. So we want to make sure that management has your CA-17 so they understand what your job requirements are. Well, why else is this so important? One of the topics I teach about is limited duty assignments. And in my new book, 25 Things You Can Do to Win an OWCP, I mention the way limited duty assignments work. They work by your doctor sending in restrictions and your supervisor finding limited duty work based on those restrictions. Well, from there, the supervisor gives you a notice that they found it. They send that notice to the claims examiner. The claims examiner reviews it. The claims examiner notifies you that there is what that person believes is a suitable job offer. And then they give you 30 days to review it with your doctor. And if there's a dispute, they'll even give you another 2 weeks to review it with your doctor. So 30 to 45 days to review with your doctor to make sure this limited duty offer is safe for you. What's happening is your supervisors are saying, here's a limited duty offer, sign it now, or we're gonna pull it. And it won't be available to you anymore. What does that even mean? You had to send it to a claims examiner first. And then the claims examiner initiates the process that is 30 to 45 days. So the CA-17 restricts duties, takes you off of work, and sends you back to work. But your supervisor uses it to distort the truth, distort the law. And they say you must sign now for your limited duty assignment. Do not. All right, get book 4, the 25 things you can do to win an OWCP. Go to www.breakingowcp.com and download the book. When you download the book, do not leave the page until you see the book on your screen. All right, too many people are going there. They click purchase, $8.50. Okay, you're going to be okay. I'm charging you just enough so I can keep the website running. Download the book. But after you purchase it for $8.50, there's another step that you just have to hover your mouse over and you'll see a hyperlink and click it. And that's your download link. Tomorrow I've got to send a book to somebody else, and it's not your fault. Okay. It's a little confusing because they didn't know they had to download it at the end. So don't leave the page until you have the book downloaded, just clicking on it will not magically put it on your device. You've still got to download the book. Okay. So do that, please. But I said all that to say the exact rules on limited duty assignments are there. And that's really important for you because these supervisors are taking your CA-17 and then they're abusing you with a job that doesn't work for you and making you sign for it without even being able to speak to your doctor. You can't stand for that. And the rules are clear. And if you have them downloaded to your phone, you can just quote the rules to your supervisor. And then they're stuck because they can't knowingly break the law. I mean, they can. There's a real dumb ones out there. They can knowingly break the law, but most people are self-preservationists. They don't want to break the law, right? So do that and help yourself. That's CA-17.
All right, let's see. We have some.
That's one of my favorite topics, by the way. This limited duty assignment thing. It's nonsense, man. Your supervisors are really, really hurting you by trying to make you sign it right now without your doctor looking at it.
All right. Sylvia says, I've asked several times for a CA-17 from management today. I finally received it, but it was a blank form. When I asked management to fill it out, management filled it out wrong.
Okay. So I've said, and I'm going to say, let me just say it. Look, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. I tell you oftentimes that like there are doctors that are cowards, right? Doctors that won't say that, your job was or your injury is work related. They're cowards. They won't say definitively that in my medical opinion, this condition was definitely work related. Those are cowards. But you also have coward supervisors who don't want to get, reprimanded by their higher ups. And so they think, well, the best thing for me to do is to break the rule and not give you this form. Well, don't be a coward. Okay. Just follow the rules. CA-17 is the rule. You have to do it. It is the only way a doctor can keep one of your employees. I'm talking to management. It's the only way the doctor can keep your employees safe at work. And God, you should care about your people being safe. So give out the form.
Irene from Thousand Oaks said, we get a lot of CA-17s without any supervisor section filled out. Oh, geez.
So what we do at federal injury centers, Irene knows this, but what we do at federal injury centers is if the supervisor refuses to give a CA-17, we fill out a form called an OWCP 5C. The OWCP 5C actually gives more information than the 17. It's overkill. Okay. When we're talking about restricting duties, it's overkill, but it's available to the doctors. And so we will still fill that out and send it back to the supervisor. And now the supervisor got a decision to make. Well, now I've got this medical information. What do I do? Okay. Well, you know what the restrictions are. Now what? And to the unions out there, file grievances. We're gonna give you a 17 or an OWCP 5C. We as doctors, and I'm not one of them, but as the doctor, they're going to do what it takes to keep the people safe, even if that means taking a black Sharpie on side A of the CA-17 and writing supervisor refused when they didn't fill it out. Let's see if the supervisor does that twice, because that goes to the claims examiner also. Let's see what happens if we take a black Sharpie. I call it the black Sharpie technique, and write supervisor refused in side A on the CA-17. I have never, ever seen a supervisor do that twice.
Kathy said, I've never received any notices from a claims examiner. Now, I know you're asking a lot of questions. It seems like this is your first time filing. If you don't understand, you can message me and I'll walk you through it.
And we're happy to have you, Kathy.
But if you didn't file a claim and the supervisor didn't submit anything to Department of Labor, then you're not going to get anything.
So Kathy says she didn't get anything from her claims examiner.
She said, I've never received any notices from a claims examiner.
So the thing is, Kathy, here are some notices they actually mail to you through the USPS. A notice that your claim is approved, a notice that your claim is denied, a notice that they've received evidence that you have a claim, a notice that they're not going to pay you, a notice that they are going to pay you, a notice that they're going to close your claims. You see what I'm saying? They always mail this stuff. So if you've never received anything, then what I would do is go to ecomp.dol.gov and check your case file and see if there are any letters from your claims examiner there. And if there's none there, my gut feeling is your supervisor failed to turn in your CA1 or CA2, and the claims examiner has no knowledge of it.
Actually, the first letter you'd receive from Department of Labor is with your case number saying that they've received your paperwork.
That's right.
So that's the very, very first letter. And we've heard this before because it's happened and people have told us, make sure your address is on there and not somebody else, like management.
Yeah, we had a supervisor.
Or the post office.
Tell the story, the supervisor thing.
Yeah, we had somebody that called, said they weren't getting any of their mail. They don't even know if their claims accepted. They never got a letter with their case. And I kept case number. I kept saying, are you sure you filed the claim? They were sure they filed the claim, because then they asked for the
and they did
management's email. Management said they took it. Management went in and changed this patient's address to their either personal address or to the post office
and
address.
So all mail from the claim examiner was going to the supervisor. So that's some dirty ass. I almost said that's really dirty. I can't say those words because we have a Salt Lake City office. They don't like it that much. But yeah, that's dirty. And that happened. So check your stuff.
Yeah, it's not happened once or twice or three times. It's happened multiple times with different people through the years. And so we're telling you, before you click submit, check it, make sure your address, and then make sure you always, after it gets submitted through Department of Labor and it goes through eComp and your management, go back into your eComp file after so many days and check and make sure that's the address still on there, that it is yours.
Now, it's possible that your supervisor simply saw home address and thought, must be my home address, and just put it in there.
It happens.
You can't believe,
and it's sad,
the nonsense that happens. I mean, you can believe it because you live it, but
yeah. Emma said, do you start the limited duty the day you get the offer?
No. Okay, you get the offer, but the offer also goes to your claims examiner to review it. The claims examiner notifies you, most likely another day or multiple days later, right? They notify you that there is what seems to be a suitable offer, and they give you 30 days to talk to your doctor. So no, you're not supposed to accept it today. Now, the thing is, once everyone's agreed that you've got this limited duty offer and it's legit, you must accept it because they can cut off your benefits. But you don't just accept it blindly. I mean, you and I are not doctors. We don't know necessarily if something matches the doctor's medical opinion. So we have to show it to them.
So if you guys just see,
and that's the law.
If you guys see one of our case managers, Emmy, just put to Samira Marie, the Code of Federal Regulations shall advise all employees. Okay, so pay attention.
OWCP shall advise the employee that it has found the offered work to be suitable. Okay, OWCP means the claims examiner, and Emmy, you just put tears in my eyes. That is my love language.
Yep.
Dropping CFRs into the messages. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, if anybody wants, copy this, take a picture, but that is the law.
And by the way, if you see Emmy Pickett responding to something, you just take that as law too. That's as if I said it.
Yeah, take it as if Chris said it, or if Jennifer Becerra says it.
Yeah, Emmy works with me. And Emmy is a badass. If she says it, it's true. So just go with it.
Don't mess with her either.
No,
please
definitely don't. She's from Boston.
And
Rhode Island. Yeah, don't mess with her.
She's from Boston and she's pregnant. You don't want to mess with her.
Don't mess with her.
We love her. Victor says, just want to say this. Dr. Dorfman hates USPS management because they don't have a clue about OWCP.
So I think Sun Tzu said it in The Art of War, that there's nothing more powerful than a common enemy. And for you and me, that common enemy is management, because they're always screwing you over. And I just don't tolerate it.
Yeah.
None of our staff tolerates it. I mean, if I were going to go into a street fight with management, though, I would take Emmy.
Yeah. Cause Emmy will.
Yeah.
Just we're not going to use the words on Facebook. Victor said all CA forms are legal and federal forms, and management needs to follow the federal rules. Unfortunately, management were trained to mismanage.
Yeah. Check out what Tish said. You got that there?
Not yet. Hold on. You got to wait.
It's such a good
Victor said, what about if an employee doesn't have a laptop or computer? Can the employee require or ask management for CA forms?
Okay, so you're required to fill this out on eComp. I don't care if you have to go to the local library. You just have to do it online. Get a friend, a cousin. The bottom line is you have to find a computer and do the internet. It's the only way. If someone doesn't have a computer, I understand, because they're not free. But you have to find it. They have to find a way. Borrow someone's phone.
Yeah. And Samara Marie, you said, thank you. I've already seen this. My question is, who do we report it when they aren't doing what they're supposed to? File a grievance with the union, call OSHA.
So if you have to call OSHA, let me explain why you would do that. They're not doing what it takes for you to be safe. Someone won't give you a CA-17. How can you be safe at work if your doctor can't write safety restrictions? Okay, hold that one. They won't turn in your CA1 or CA2 within 10 days. They just hold it and say, I don't have to do it. Well, how can you be safe if you can't officially report your injury? Those are just two examples. The phone number is 1-800-321-OSHA, OSHA. And 1-800-321-OSHA is an easier number to remember than your own phone number. I can remember 1-800-321-OSHA better than I remember my wife's phone number, and I have it memorized, but it doesn't have letters in it. So call OSHA.
Oh, that's me. Oh, wait. Oh my God. Never mind.
Who's my wife? Who is it? Oh my gosh. Nicholas, only I knew who my wife was.
Nicholas is on. We met Nicholas in Greenville, South Carolina
last
week. It was a pleasure meeting you and your cute little daughter. She was adorable.
Yes.
I'm going to answer one more. We're going to go on to the next form. Walter Dade said, how soon after your case is accepted should you receive a job offer?
How soon after your case is accepted?
Yeah.
Well, you receive a job offer based on a number of factors. Number one, you said it, your case accepted. Number two, you have a CA-17. Number three, there is suitable work for you. Now, the supervisors are required to make every effort possible to find suitable work for you. And so if that is there, then they make the offer, but there's no time frame on when they have to make the offer. If they don't make an offer, then you're off work and you're filling out a CA-7, which I think we're about to talk about, a claim for compensation, and you're going to get paid on LWOP.
Victor, my number is 877-787-OWCP. And then you have my personal cell.
That is not her number.
All right. That's what I said. That's my number. And then he has my real cell number.
So I'm actually super hard of hearing, but not at this distance.
Let's talk about.
So my doctor said I have the hearing of a 70-year-old. Now, if I was 70, I'd be offended.
I think you are 70.
Just need hearing aids.
Let's get on to the CA-7 that a lot of you start filling out and sending it in before your claim is accepted.
A CA-7 is called a claim for compensation. You cannot turn this form in. Compensation sounds like a good word. You can't turn it in until your claim is accepted. You have to have an accepted claim. From there, you can only be out of work medically for valid reasons. You can't just be out of work. You know what happens? People say, hey, 2 years ago, I was out of work for 2 months. Can you help me get paid? And I say, well, okay, let me see your CA-17. What's that? Wait, your doctor didn't take you out of work? No, I just didn't feel good. Well, you can't get paid. You have to have a CA-17. You can only get paid to be out of work on LWOP if it's medically necessary. Your doctor took you out of work with that duty status report, CA-17. They took you out of work, and that's why you're out of work. You can't just stay home. I had another person that said, well, my doctor had a CA-17. I turned it in, but that didn't work for me, so I stayed home. Can you help me get paid? No. Your CA-17 must be exact, and you must go to work based on those restrictions. Well, my supervisor wouldn't follow the restrictions, so I stayed home. Well, that doesn't work either. You have to go to work. Well, what about my supervisor? File agreements. File agreements. Go back to your doctor and tell your doctor that your supervisor is not following the restrictions. What do I do? Maybe the doctor will take you out of work. I don't know. It's a medical decision. But what happens is people just stay home and they want to get paid, but they can't. CA-7s are not for vacation. So that's really important. With all that said, the way to get paid to be out of work is to have a CA-7 and have proper documentation to go along with it. So you fill the CA-7 out perfectly, maybe a 7A, which is a time analysis form. If you're not off all the time, you're at work some, you're off work some. But you have to attach that CA-17. You attach a CA-20, which we'll talk about in a second. You attach a medical narrative from the doctor that explains medically why you're out of work. And if you're out of work because you had to go to the doctor or to an MRI or to physical therapy, you need to have copies of your appointments to prove that you were out of work. You attach all that stuff to a CA-7 when your claim is accepted and you can get paid. That's how that works. but don't use a CA7 for vacation. They won't pay you, and you can get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you can.
And I don't want that. Now, fortunately, I don't see people getting in trouble, but I think that's because I tell you don't do that, right? I like vacation more than anybody likes vacation, and nobody likes vacation like I do.
Yeah.
But a CA7 is not for that.
Samara Marie said, I was shocked when the claims examiner told me I didn't get 30 days. Then she said I needed to decline it so she could send me for a second opinion. I literally had to just Google how long I was to get on the DOL website. I saw the confirmation I was to get 30 days.
Yeah, that's right. 30 days. Very frustrating. The supervisors just, I believe they don't know it. I think they believe that they have some kind of power. They have no power. The only thing the supervisor has a power to do is fill out forms and get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's all they can do. Nothing else.
Nicholas, yes. Need more podcast episodes. Best way to reach more carriers. Do you plan on doing episodes solely for the podcast focusing on each subject?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
We're in travel season, so it's tough, but I didn't want to delay the podcast. So Robert, our friend who does all of our podcast editing and posting, producing and all that, he's taken important Wednesday night chats and converted them to audio and turned them to podcast because the information needs to get out there.
Yes.
And so we've just started that way. We appreciate all 300 people that have already downloaded it. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. But believe me, after travel season, we're going to just have a flurry of live podcast recordings. That's just brand new that you haven't seen anywhere but there. So go ahead and download it and subscribe right away.
All right. We're going to talk about the CA20. Why?
That's boring.
Oh, you're talking about it.
I'm totally kidding. It's attending physicians report, the CA20 attending physicians report. Now, one thing I like about the CA20, and I don't think anybody else is thinking about it the way I am, is let's say you're from Des Moines, Iowa, or from Nebraska, okay, or South Dakota, or North Dakota, or Montana, and there's no doctors, and they don't know how to write narrative reports. Well, the CA20 is an attending physician report, and you wouldn't believe all the questions it asks. If your doctor could fill that out thoroughly with great detail, I don't know, you might get a claim accepted like that just by having that be your documentation. It's not something that's been tried a lot, but I like trying new things. It's that detailed. The attending physician report essentially says to whoever's reading it, here's the current status. Here's how the injury happened. Here's where we are now. And this is the prognosis. It's a pretty great form. I think OWCP was years ahead of its time when it made that form. And I don't think they figured out all the ways it can be used yet. And I think it can be used to get a claim accepted. But it's definitely used to explain the situation. And they have to be attached to CA7s when you're trying to get paid anyways. Claims examiners ask for them. Nurse case managers request them. Supervisors are allowed to request them. Supervisors will often say, I want information. I want to see your medical documentation. Well, okay, no, except you can have a CA17 or a CA20 if you want, no problem. And so the CA20 is just sort of a notice like, hey, here's what's up. This is what's happening with the claim. And your doctor fills that out. It has to be signed by a medical doctor, chiropractors, PAs, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, occupational therapists. They can't fill it out. But your medical doctor, your DO, they can. It gives information about what's happening. But the key for you is it helps you get paid on a CA7. But I truly believe that it could be something, I don't know, but it could be some way to help people get claims accepted.
What is an OWCP 5C?
Well, I just talked about it. The 5C is like an alternative to a CA17 duty status report. For federal injury centers, if your supervisor refuses to give a CA17, we fill out a 5C, OWCP 5C, because the doctor's job is to keep you safe. And they, meaning the supervisors, cannot prevent us from doing that job.
Samira said it wasn't a supervisor, though. It was a claims examiner. Well, first it was a supervisor, then she backed them up.
It happens. I don't like to badmouth claims examiners because too much is on the line, but they're not all as well trained as some of the more experienced ones.
All right.
Read between the lines on that one.
We went over the CA1, the CA2, the CA16, the CA17, the CA20, the CA7, the OWCP 5C. We're going to talk about the last two, then we'll answer all the other questions. We're going to talk about OWCP 957.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and just group these two together.
Okay.
The last two are the OWCP 915 and the OWCP 957. Okay, let me remind you all. Every one of these forms are listed on the Federal Injury Center's website. Go to federalinjurycenters.com, go to the OWCP Forms tab, and you can click on these forms and look at the forms. You can print the forms, okay? You can use the forms from federalinjurycenters.com. These two forms are meant for you to be reimbursed for your out-of-pocket expenses. The OWCP 915 is to reimburse you for expenses you paid to other doctors, you paid to imaging centers, you paid to pharmacies, okay? It's meant to reimburse you for deductibles when you use your health insurance because you needed surgery. It's meant to reimburse you for ER expenses, urgent care expenses. It's meant to reimburse you for all the expenses you paid out of pocket before you found a doctor who knew how to get a claim accepted. Okay, so the OWCP 915 is really, really critically important for so many people. 14% of people have accepted claims nationwide. That means you're paying money out of your pocket. When your claim gets accepted, you can fill out the OWCP 915, attach your receipts and documentation, and you can be reimbursed. That's very, very important. Now, sometimes you may need a doctor to write a letter of medical necessity for the things that were done that you paid for, but that's okay. You just attach that documentation. So the OWCP 915 is so that you can be paid back for money you should have never paid in the first place. You shouldn't pay money out of your pocket for a work injury if you're a federal employee. That's what OWCP is for. And so with all their wisdom, they said, hey, this happens anyway, so let's give them a way to get their money back. That's what the 915 is for. The OWCP 957 is for travel reimbursement. Now, it will reimburse you for mileage up to 100 miles round trip if you have to drive further, which is not uncommon. You just need to call your claims examiner in advance and say, look, this is my only option. I don't have anybody within 100 miles round trip. Will you authorize me to drive 110 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, which, believe me, happens. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Then you could just have to make a decision. Do I still want to do it? Because I believe that the pain of the drive is not as bad as the pain of the denied claim. And the cost of the drive is not nearly as expensive as the cost of a denied claim. So you have to make a personal decision, but that's how that works.
Yeah.
It'll also reimburse you for airfare. It'll reimburse you for hotel, for Uber, Lyft, taxi, and even meals. But you will have to get prior authorization for that. You call your claims examiner and say, here's a situation, will you pay for this? And if they say yes, that's your documentation. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You always have to attach documentation to the OWCP 957. If you're going to get reimbursed for miles up to 100 miles round trip, you have to attach like Google Map that shows, or MapQuest. Does anybody still use MapQuest? I use Google Maps.
I do sometimes to check locations.
So it'll show you the distance from and back, right? From and to and back. So you attach that so they can see it. And from there, I recommend also attaching documentation that you were at the doctor or the imaging center or the therapy center, wherever, to prove that where you were was related to the work injury. So the OWCP 915 is to reimburse you for money, and the OWCP 957 is to reimburse you for travel. That's what those forms are for. And in both cases, you have to have your claim approved first. Once your claim is approved, go ahead and file all that stuff from the past. But you got to wait till it's approved.
Priscilla, I hope that answered your question, because she said, how long do you have to submit these forms for reimbursement? So
yeah, Diane Ramirez says, you guys are good. Thank you, Diane.
Tish, I don't see your question. So if you could,
it was up there. That's what I wanted you to read, and you told me not to.
Well, it should have popped up.
I blame her.
It didn't.
I blame her, Tish.
So please retype your question, and I'll get to it. Julie said, do you know what the difference between pay code 49 OWCP LWAP and code 60 full day LWAP? I noticed that I was paid code 60 on 4 weeks of LWAP. I did have an accepted condition the whole time, and this was last year, and I'm too late to ask about this. Am I too late to ask about this?
No, you're not too late to ask about it, but would you read the first part of her question again, please?
Do you know what's the difference between pay code 49 OWCP LWAP and code 60 full day LWAP?
Okay, so, I don't have, no, okay. That's fine. I don't have those memorized off the top of my head. However, anybody that's in the chat can answer that. I'm fine with that. or send us a private message so that I can get it and answer the question for you. We're not playing Stump the Chump tonight. Okay, I'll get the answer. But 49 and 60, I'm not sure what the difference are.
Victor, yes, I am old school. I am still using MapQuest. I have to. For locations, I got to see how far apart they are. Diane Ramirez, yes, I can. Oh, okay. About these APW codes. Look behind your 3971. Okay, they're all interacting with each other.
Good, yeah. And that's a good thing about Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini, is that this community of people all help each other. So feel free and jump in there. If you know the answer, give it. That's why we're here.
Yeah, so if anybody knows the answer to her question.
That one that I just got stumped on.
We played Stump the Chump last week.
We don't often win that game. Playing Stump the Chump doesn't usually work out for those of you trying to stump the chump.
Don't stump the freaking chump.
Well, I'm not a freaking chump.
All right. Let me go check over here with the questions because I think there's a bunch.
Yeah, and that one question that I wanted to read, please repost it so I can see it up here, and I'll just read it. I wanted to read it earlier, but I've already forgotten because so many come in. And she's in charge of reading questions, so she overruled me. So
Georgia.
So we blame her for this.
I can't wait to see you at Marketing Matters.
What's up, Georgia? She's in Alabama, somewhere near Huntsville. She's one of the Black Diamond Club members with us. It's a high-level coaching group that we're involved in that helps us do a better job with you. And hey, Georgia, what's up?
All right, what else? All right, so we went over all the forms. Does anybody have any questions with those particular forms?
Or anything else? I mean, we will be here for the next 30 seconds. So just ask all the questions you want in the next 30 seconds. Let's go.
Stop. Samara Marie said, supervisors in my area have been trying to tell employees they have to schedule appointments on their own time and not during work hours.
Yeah, that's not true. So you are allowed up to 4 hours of your work shift to go to the doctor when your claim is accepted. So don't allow for that. Just file a grievance.
It's so weird that Tish's
there it is.
Go ahead and read it. Oh,
well,
let's see.
It's moving so fast.
What if the claims examiner says that limited duty job was not suitable for me and I'm still off work because they will not allow me to get back to work, although I know that people are working in jobs with my...
When the claims examiner said it's not suitable for you...
Lower seniority.
No, I got you. When the claims examiner says it's not suitable, you stay off work and getting paid with your CA7s. Now, I know you probably want to get back to work desperately, but you will get paid to stay home because the claims examiner said not so fast. This is not a suitable job. And that's good. And that's what you want. We will actually want the claims examiner working in your best interest. So the claims examiner says, here's the job, here's the CA17. They don't match. This doesn't work. That's a good thing.
Oh my gosh, I love this name because we watch a show, Denny Stone. Denny, what's this?
Denny.
I love the name.
Denny Craig.
Denny Craig.
Denny Craig. That's Boston Legal. Okay, so look, you could not put Boston Legal on TV today because it's rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. But it's William Shatner.
So cute.
It's Captain Kirk. Funny. So you just kind of watch it, but he says Denny Craig. Denny Crane. No, Crane. Denny Crane. He's a lawyer.
Victor, for Chris Helms, I hate Texas. They beat Houston.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Victor. I happen to be a Texas Rangers fan, lifelong, born and raised, man. Can't help it.
Let me get back to Denny. Denny, we will be coming to New York soon, into a lot of the boroughs, so it'll happen.
Aaron said, "Where's the middle table, son?"
Mm-hmm.
I moved the middle table out, and the camera's on it right now. We wanted to get closer together.
Emma said, "Thank you for all your hard work and knowledge."
Very welcome, Emma. Thanks for being here.
Aw. All right, so that is all we have for tonight.
All right, so we talked about all the forms. Go back and rewatch it if you need to. Get the books, Breaking OWCP, at www.breakingowcp.com. You have to download them to your phone. Look, I'm sorry. I know everybody likes paper copies, and I have paper copies, but I give them out for free when we go to events where I'm live. I like to have them and give them out. I'm not selling Volume 4, 25 Things You Can Do to Win an OWCP as paper, only as PDF. But I made it so cheap. It's ridiculous not to get it. I think you get all 4 for like $30-something. Just do it. If you need the help, I think you do. But the key is download it to your phone. You need to put these books in your pocket. That's so critically important that you put Breaking OWCP in your pocket, because your supervisor is going to say, you have to sign this limited duty assignment right now. Well, wouldn't you like to be able to pull out the rule that says, no, I don't? Not so fast. And so I wrote these books so you can put them in your pocket. So your supervisor stop hosing you. And that's what's happening. So go to www.breakingowcp.com and download the books to your phone. They're PDFs. They don't take up a lot of memory, not a lot of space. It's going to be fine. If you're somebody that's like, how do I do that? You probably have a son or a daughter. They know how to do it. When I have a problem, I just go to one of my kids, because they're all like 18 to 25 and they know everything I don't know. So do what I do. But get this thing on your phone, because when your supervisors are trying to hose you, the best defense for you is to show the law. And I've given you everything you need to win an OWCP. And it's a crime for you not to have it. So just get it. Go to breakingowcp.com. When you download the books, do not leave the website until you have the book physically downloaded to your device. Until you can see the book on your device, do not leave the website. If you do, I'll email it to you. But come on, just don't leave the site.
I'm going to do a video tomorrow.
But we did this to help you.
To download the PDF book. Rudy said, yes, I got one of the books at the event in Sacramento. It was good seeing you, Rudy.
That's right. You come live, you get a live book.
Tish, she said, God bless you both. I will be here every week now. Well, that's so sweet.
We're glad to have you, Tish. Welcome, and we love you.
Yeah. Where is it at? Diane Ramirez said, thank you from Des Moines, Iowa. By the way, I'm an OHP specialist here.
I love Des Moines, Iowa.
We want to come there.
I just told our partner, Joe, Des Moines, Iowa. Sorry for everybody else in the country. Des Moines, Iowa is number one on my list for places I want a new office. And I'm not just saying that. Honestly, it is. I helped a lady from Des Moines like 10 years ago on the phone from a restaurant. I walked away from my friends and spent an hour and a half on the phone with this lady to help her out. And from then, and I've never been able to find a doctor that would say yes, but I've always said, I got to have somebody in Iowa. So it's number one on my list because of, honestly, from that night. Aaron said, download it fully. Yes. Download the book all the way.
Nico, how are you?
What's up, Nico?
Arizona, Mary Ann Prater. We haven't heard from you in so long. Hope you're doing well.
We really do.
See you in Miami next year at the APW Florida State and Seminar Convention. Yeah. Victor, don't talk about next year.
You just threatened me with a good time again. I'm coming to Miami, buddy.
Diane, as soon as we get invited to any of the union state conventions or national conventions, we will definitely be there.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's it for tonight. Don't forget, next week we'll be in Miami. We won't have chats next Wednesday. And then the following week, we are actually in California. We will be doing chats that Wednesday from California. We just have to make sure that we're on the right time zone.
Yeah, it'll be quite a bit earlier. It'll be what,
like
5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 o'clock there. So we'll definitely be on. And those of you that are in TSA in LA, we are excited to see you guys and meet new federal employees. So we'll be training for a couple days, Wednesday and Thursday, actually.
So I want to say something. And Robert.
Oh, hold on. Where in California we're going to be? We're going to be at LAX airport, and there is a hotel. Once I get all the info, I'll put it. So if anybody wants to come by and say hello to us, you can. And yeah.
We're going to Redding after that.
And then we're going to Redding, California.
For APW.
For APW to do a full training. Eric Blowers is going to be there too. He's going to be training on schedule awards, OPM disability.
Wait, Eric's going to go?
And third party.
I don't even have to talk.
Yeah, and then Chris will be doing all the OWCP stuff. I have a union steward I know on here. She is impressed. Aw.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
That's really sweet.
That means a lot. So I want to say a thing just to finish this thing out. So my boy Robert, who does our podcast, he likes to make our little short videos. If you see these reels, Robert's gone in and found like old videos, and he reposts them because they are important content. So I want to tell Robert to remember this. Mark this. What time is it?
9:14
p.m. Robert, don't be a stupid advisor. Like, I believe that is something that is like, there's a meme waiting to happen. Don't be a stupid advisor.
I'm sure Victor will make one.
Don't be a stupid advisor.
I'm waiting for Victor or Robert.
Fill out the forms. Your only job in OWCP is to fill out the forms and get the hell out of the way. Mark that, Robert.
I'm a union steward, and this still helps me so much. Aw.
Yeah.
Glad to know.
We're really glad.
One more thing. And we said this at the beginning, and those of you that are here at the end, there's a lot of regular people, I don't know who these people are, that is reporting this page.
Yeah, stop reporting the page.
There is also people,
idiots,
in these union groups that I share. I'm not going to call his name out to not embarrass him or anything. There's several people that are messaging me and telling me that I'm scamming their page.
What's his first name?
No, I'm not going to say it.
What's his first name?
I'm not going to be
first
that
name.
Way. Nope.
First name only.
No, I'm not going to do that. So here goes. Here goes. We are not a scam. We're not scamming anybody for money. And all these people that are on here that have been to our offices can tell you they've never paid a dime out of their pocket. They're getting their claims accepted, and we are not a freaking scam. And this is really frustrating because every day for the last 3 weeks, I have to go in and update information that I am not a scam. We are a legit company, and what we are doing is legitimate.
And what's happening is whatever coworkers of yours that are doing this, they may not be your coworkers directly, but they work in your craft somewhere around the country. They are making it impossible for some people to get help. Because some people listen to the nonsense they say, and they go, oh, yeah, that must be a scam, because there are too many people that just read the headlines and don't actually read the article. So we're not, okay? Nobody's ever paid $1 for the free service that we give, and all we do is win. 90+% accepted claims rate, 85% plus return to work rate. What the hell else do you want?
And yet,
it's not a scam.
I don't understand how you think this is a scam. I am posting information twice a week to your pages. One, saying what we are going to be talking about so people understand and know. Two, that I share the chats page and we tell you guys to share it too.
You always have some jerks like, oh, you're just scamming us. But I always tell her, don't respond to that person. Yeah. Don't even block that person, because here's what. Let the audience deal with them. We know that you're going to deal with them. I see it. Like, somebody will post something nasty and I'll be like, oh, that person's in trouble, because somebody comes out and just blasts them. And normally they get blasted like by multiple people and whatever. Like, just my point is that when your coworkers around the country do that, what they're doing is hurting other people's chances of winning.
Yeah, just like Denny Stone said, if you don't like that they're telling us to get off the page,
the
rest of us want to learn. So everybody else wants to learn. So if you believe that we're scammers, and this is the one thing that ticks me off, if you believe that we're scammers, keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Just keep scrolling. Or block me personally.
Yeah, we're totally cool with that.
Or block Wednesday night chats. That's it.
But everybody else wants never come back. Yeah, don't come back. No problem.
But what I will be doing is that those couple people that have complained and told me that I'm scamming them, I blocked them. So now you can't see my stuff. So
bye-bye.
It's the middle finger to them.
But maybe let your folks know, your friends, just that we're doing this. That if you come across this page, that it might be a gift to you. You're not hurt now, but you might get hurt. And if you do, it'd sure be nice to have the information in advance, right? So
yeah.
Anyways, we love all of you. We've been doing this since 2016. Okay. 2024 is going to be, in 2 more years.
It's 8 years that we've been doing this.
For 8 years, we've been doing this.
We didn't scam anybody.
Well, yeah, but my point is, many of you have been here the whole time. Some of you are new. You come and go. When you don't need the information, you probably just go and watch TV or something. That's okay too. But we're always here, and we really appreciate you being here. And those of you that jump in our defense, it does not go unnoticed. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So beware when you call me a scammer. It's not going to end out really good for you. Last question, and then we're going to sign
I don't mess
off.
with her. Like, I'd never call her a scammer. I call her other things, like pretty.
Don't mess with me. You don't want to see my bad side. And that was one of my bad sides.
Don't make her turn green.
Priscilla Rogers said, would an accommodation be suitable to return to your regular scheduled job versus a modified job? A modified job is a new appointment which changes your schedule and off days to benefit the post office. Do you have to accept a job offer that changes every aspect of your job?
So your restrictions are only physical restrictions. They're not, unless there's some good reason you can't take another shift. They're not going to take that into account. You have to take a limited duty offer that matches the restrictions on your CA-17. That's the key to the whole thing, that it matches your CA-17 restrictions. And there's nothing on there that's about your shift or your days off.
Oh, Marianne said, anytime you are the best at what you do, the devil tries and it sends demons to interfere. Keep God first and informed by us. Thank you.
Don't come after this one. You got to mess with her.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So everyone, that's it. We've been on for an hour and 20. We love you. We love doing this. We're not probably going to be okay. So we've been told by Robert that we must do it next Wednesday. So we're going to make every effort to get on for at least 30 minutes next Wednesday night from Miami.
Oh, yeah.
But if not, please forgive us. We will make every effort to do it. And then otherwise, we'll see you as soon
as the 15th
as humanly possible, because we love doing it.
We might get some of the TSA guys to come on.
So that'd be fun.
Night. So we'll see if Bobby or Victor wants to come on. Not you, Victor. Victor in California.
It'll be instead of 1-800-VICTOR, it'll be 1-800 TSA guys.
So see you guys in Miami, to all our BDC friends, and then see everyone in LA soon and in Redding.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for everybody being here. Tell your friends to be here next week. Go to breakingowcp.com and download all the books to your phone. See ya.